Welcome to the Bodybuilding Banter podcast, your number one source of all things bodybuilding. Be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date on future episodes. Now, here's your host, Leroy Rollins.
All right, people, welcome to the Bodybuilding Banter podcast. I'm here with my man, Darren. Darren, why don't you introduce yourself to the people and tell them what you're all about, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, sure. Well, thanks for having me on to start with. I live in the UK, just outside Oxford. Been bodybuilding for as long as I can remember. So my background's in martial arts as a youngster.
Cool.
Started with karate. Did pretty well with that. Competed at a pretty decent level.
Nice.
And then kind of just merged into the gym. Fell in love with the gym.
Yeah. I
didn't really start training in the gym till I was in my 20s.
Oh, okay.
Purely because martial arts just took more of a precedence.
Right.
And then the two didn't mix. You know, martial arts and lifting heavy weights just didn't go.
So how far did you go with martial arts?
So I was a second degree black belt.
Oh, wow. That's intense.
So, yeah, fought in the World Championships for Great Britain.
Good for you.
At the youngest age, I was 18 when I was in the British team.
Yeah.
The youngest lightweight ever to represent the British team.
Wow.
So it was my forte. I was quick. So I wasn't big. I wasn't heavy. I was just quick. I always ended up coming out of the fight looking like I'd lost.
Right.
Because the bigger guy would give me a good whack.
Totally.
But I'd score more points.
Yeah. So what got you into martial arts at such a young age?
My dad was a boxer, so I boxed when I was 6.
Right.
It's kind of almost, it went along the lines of, I was in the boxing club. I was beating 14, 15-year-olds because I was just skillful.
Yep.
But I wasn't allowed to fight.
Okay.
Because I was too young, obviously,
right.
10 years old. I couldn't fight. And I wasn't happy about that, of course.
Totally.
So I rebelled. I said to my dad, okay, if you're not going to let me fight, I'm going to quit boxing and I'm going to take up karate.
Yep.
Thinking that he wouldn't be too happy about that as a boxer.
Yep.
And he went, fine. If that's what you want to do, that's no problem.
Yeah.
Of course, to him, it wasn't important that I boxed or that I did karate or that I did anything. It was important to him that I was active, I was fit, I was healthy, I was doing something.
Yeah.
So I went to karate. I think I was at karate for about 8 weeks, and It was a tournament coming up.
Yeah.
And my karate instructor said to me, hey, you can do this tournament if you want, because I was good with my hands.
Yeah.
And I won my first tournament.
Jeez.
And it was just kind of like, yeah, I like this.
Yeah.
But it was semi-contact. It was, my hardest point was not hurting people. My hardest point was not hitting them.
Right.
You've got to hit them, make contact, but not hurt them.
Okay.
And that took a little while to get used to.
Yeah, that'd be hard to wrap your head around for sure.
Oh, yeah, as a boxer.
Yeah. You just want to throttle people.
You just punch through the bag.
Yeah.
And then saying that, actually, no, you're going to just touch them. So I couldn't.
Just give a tap.
I couldn't use my. Yeah. And I got used to it, and I got better. I was a black belt by the time I was 13.
Wow.
Then I was teaching at the age of 14, which is pretty much when my coaching started.
Yeah.
So I was always pretty good at coaching. It became very natural to me to talk to people. It became very natural to me to understand where people were and what they needed to do.
Yep.
You'll know yourself. A good coach kind of is one of those people that can interpret what they want to give someone and understand how to tell them.
Yeah, it's all about delivery, right? And everybody's different. The way you deliver something to A to B is probably totally different.
Massively. And that started from the age of 14, being able to teach karate.
Yeah.
I had a great teacher. You know, my schooling was a guy called Graham Thomas, who's now a Shian. He's a master.
Right.
The discipline within the club, the discipline within the training was just incredible.
Yeah.
So that taught me to be a good coach. So my coaching started from that. And it just kind of just went from there. I taught all the way up until I was 22.
Wow.
I went to university quite late in life because I was fighting.
Yep.
And competing.
Yep.
So I had to make that choice. Do I go to university at 19 when I should have gone? Or do I delay? I was in the British team.
Yep.
I had commitments to the karate club.
Yeah, for sure.
Kind of went, do you know what?
You can always do school later.
Absolutely. So 3 years, I took 3 years out.
Yep.
It was going to be 1, ended up 3.
That's
and then
fine.
I was like, right, I can't do this any longer. I've got to go. I wanted to learn. I wanted to develop my own knowledge.
Totally.
So I went and did a degree in sports science.
Nice.
Which has kind of led me into, where I am now, understanding how things work. Again, good coaches don't just read a book and then translate it. Good coaches understand what they've read.
Yep.
You can't ask someone to do something unless you fully understand what that means and how that's going to implement them. Yeah,
if any of your clients ask why, you should be able to give like an intelligent answer, not just read it in a book.
You know what? Reading a book, you're just dictating what you've read. And a lot of people they regurgitate what they've just read. With no understanding. But you can tell the coaches that understand because they can give a layman's answer.
Break it down, make it simple.
There's science to everything. But most of my clients don't want to know the science.
No, for sure.
And they just want to know, okay, the simpler form. How do I need to do this? What do I need to do? How can I break this down? And then from a coaching perspective, you've got to be able to understand how to translate to them.
Totally.
And make them understand what you want them to achieve.
No, exactly. That's very, very well said. And clearly your coaching experience comes into how you communicate, right? Even right now on this podcast, right? Like, clearly the listeners know in the first 5 minutes of this podcast, you know what you're talking about. Which is good. That's awesome. That's why you're on here, right?
Absolutely. Thank you.
So talk to me, okay, so you started getting serious into the training in your 20s. Talk to me about that transition period from martial arts to weight training.
Well, the transition was just kind of a bit of a lazy transition, to be fair. I was trying to find a karate club that I liked.
Right.
The standard that's so high from the club that I trained at and taught at. I found it very, very difficult to find a club that actually had the same values as me. Yeah.
You're here and everybody else is down here, right? Like, I can understand that for sure.
And that's not a derogatory term to them, and it's no disrespect to them. Just, I had little things like we walked into our dojo and you bow when you walk through the door. You can't wear shoes. You can't. Lots of little disciplines that set you up for, okay, we're here to work. I'd go to clubs and people were chatting in line. They were training and they were chatting, and I was just like, what's this?
Yeah, you're going to get hit.
I couldn't settle. Nothing really lived up to where I was from my training, from my coach. So I kind of drifted away from that.
Okay.
I had a guy in my halls of residence who liked lifting.
There you go.
We just went to the gym. And, okay, let's have a go there. We were both fit and healthy and strong, and it snowballed from there. And it was one of those things that, what have I got time to do? I'm studying. I can go to the gym for an hour. And I'm done.
So this was when you were in university then?
It was, yeah.
Okay. So talk to me about then that first maybe year of training or so. Where did your knowledge come from? Was it from your buddy? What did your, split look like? Tell me about that.
Very bro. I think, bearing in mind we're talking now, I always think, how old am I? I'm talking now more than 20 years ago, okay? So the knowledge came from the fact that I like to know what I'm doing. So, okay. I'm going to start something. I'm going to read up on it.
Yep.
So, okay, I'm going to the gym, right? What do I need to know? I got magazines. We had no internet then, really.
Sure.
We had internet, but it wasn't really like we've got it now.
No,
but it
for
was
sure.
kind of books. Okay, well, this book says let's do chest on Monday. Let's do
back on Tuesday.
Then we'll have a rest day. Then we'll do shoulders. Then do we do legs? We'll do. I'll tell you what. Let's go to the pub. Now we did legs. We did legs.
That's good.
And that was really it. It was probably 4 or 5 exercises. rep range,
3
8 to
sets
12.
of 10. Yep.
You know, you pick up any how do I lift book, and it tells you, you do 4 sets, 8 to 12.
Yep.
That was it, really. But my need to be good at what I was doing soon took over.
Yeah.
And soon got to the point where, no, okay, there's got to be a better way. There's got to be a smarter way.
There's more to this.
Yeah, I'm progressing. How can I progress quicker?
Mm-hmm.
So that then led me to then research more, look at more, read more. And of course, like anyone, those first maybe 2 years of hitting the gym, I went from I was always lean. I was always very lean as a youngster. Okay. So I went from being, that skinny kid with 6-pack, thinking I was ripped.
Yeah.
To obviously putting a bit of muscle on.
Yeah.
And looking pretty good. I looked like I lifted after a year, 2 years. I looked pretty good.
Do you recall what your weight may have went from in that time?
I have no idea.
No.
I don't think I ever weighed myself.
Yeah.
I would have been, at a guesstimation, probably mid-60s.
Okay.
Probably around 65 kilos when I started.
Sure.
When I fought, when I was competing in karate, I've been around the 60 kilo mark.
Right. Okay.
So I was a lightweight.
Yeah.
And then, so that then kind of built, and of course eating, I had no knowledge of any nutrition.
Yeah.
I just ate.
Yep. Just eat food.
Just eat. Well, do you know what? The only, I would say, supplements that I ever used, you probably don't know what they are. It's called a nutrient can.
Never heard of it.
You don't want to. It's a can that you got from a newsagent.
Yeah.
And it was a can of protein. It was a meal replacement can. They were lovely. They were really nice. Yeah. Very, when the macros, when you break it down, you look at the macros like probably equal protein and fat.
Yeah.
In hindsight, they weren't great. But that's what I had. That was it.
Yeah.
I had one of them before and one of them after every training session.
Yeah. It's funny, like, you talking about how you started and even for me, how I started. And, I coach a lot of younger athletes now, right? Like in their, mid to late teens and stuff. And they want to start taking the gym more seriously. And, they're like, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Like, I've been reading this. And even when I got started and you said, like, the information was very basic, like, same thing. Like, I had a couple magazines and at that time, bodybuilding.com was starting to get some traction, but that was it. And same thing, right? Like, you read, okay, 3-4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. We'll do bench press, incline press, chest flies, push-ups on Monday, and then blah, blah, blah. And then it's food, and they're like, what do I eat? And I'm like, just eat. Like,
yeah,
if they want to get bigger, and especially being so young, like, you guys can afford to put on the little bit of fat that's going to come on, but they're so worried now, and especially with social media, like, looking good, and what do I weigh? Do I need to weigh this? And just like you said, you didn't weigh yourself. Like, I don't remember weighing myself till I started competing when I was like 20, right? Yeah. From like 14 to 19, I just ate everything and worked out. I didn't think about okay, is this optimal, or, how many sets of this should I do? Oh, are leg extensions better than lunges? Like, it's just, there's so much information, it's almost overwhelming.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think kind of social media is great and it's horrible. Or they're all in the same sentence. And it's like, there are so many people these days that they train because they want to compete. Yep. And, it's kind of like, I want to compete. Where do I start? Well, you got to start with a desire to train. Yeah. I was just training. I had no idea of competing. Competing was not even on my horizon. No, I was competing with myself every day. Yeah. But as far as the bodybuilding stage, the honest truth is, many, many years later, in my 30s, was the first time I stepped on stage. And that was from, so I used to own a gym. Okay. One of my members said to me and my best mate, one of my guys who worked for me as well, said, you guys should compete. And we were like, come on. And at this stage, social media still wasn't in. Okay. There was still no social media at this point. Okay. And we were like, we compete. I think Facebook was probably in. Facebook was starting to grow. Yeah. But it was like, not a bodybuilder. Yeah. And he was like, no, there's a natural scene. Because my idea of a bodybuilder was these guys in Flex magazine.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's all you got to see, right?
That's all we had.
Yeah.
And we would follow the splits from Flex magazine, and
Yep.
we were doing. Competing was never on the horizon. It was we trained because we loved training.
Exactly.
And we wanted to look better, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so different now, right? Like guys, like you said, just want to go to the gym just to eventually step on stage and whatever, and they're trying to find the perfect this and the perfect that, and it's like, why are you going to the gym in the first place? Like you need to, like you said, you need to have that love for training. And I was kind of same situation as you. Like all I had was what I seen in the magazines, and what I saw in the mirror did not look like that, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, I knew maybe later, a couple of years into the gym that maybe I'd step on stage one day because, I started to learn that there was a such thing as a natural bodybuilding. But again, when I first picked up a weight, the last thing I ever thought about was competing.
Yeah. But again, you're from a completely different era in terms of there's so much more spotlight on it now. There's so much more awareness. And I think that's the problem now. I think that's where the problem is with a lot of youngsters that come into the gym and their desire is to compete. And they're nowhere near ready to compete. And as a coach, it's one of the hardest things, and I'm sure you get it a lot. What's your goal? Okay, I want to compete. Okay, well, let's have a look at you. Let's see where you are. I'm brutally honest that's my style. I'm brutally honest. It's like constructive honesty. Dude, you're not ready.
Yeah. Give it a couple of years.
You're probably going to need a couple of years. And who wants to hear you want a couple of years? Like some people, that just shatters them because they have no idea that, okay, a couple of years really isn't that long.
No, especially in natural bodybuilding. That flies, man. Yeah.
And the reality is in a couple of years, they still might not actually be ready to be competitive.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, so for me, like I'm a lightweight, right? Like right now I'm 10 weeks out and 159 pounds, and guys look at me and I weigh less than them, right?
Yeah.
And they're, and they're like trying to fathom how, like, I mean, even when I started, getting serious about competing, and there was a bodybuilder at the gym that I went to, and I think I was 170, 175 at the time, and I had built some muscle, I'd been in the gym 5-6 years and had a decent foundation, and we talked, and he's like, yeah, you'll be about 150 on stage, and I was like mortified that I was going to be 150, because I was like 150 when I was in high school, and I was like, are you kidding me? Like, after all this time, I'm only going to be 150, and now that I've got some more experience under my belt, I understand it. But it's the same thing, like you said, you look at some guys and they're 160 with a little bit of muscle on their frame, but as soon as they start to diet, all of a sudden they're back to being like skinny again. And then like that's disheartening to hear and to tell people, right? It's a tough one.
And the hardest thing is explaining to someone that if we get you anywhere near where you need to be, body composition wise, you're just not going to have enough muscle, and you won't be happy with what you've got.
No, yeah, and you'll feel like crap,
and you'll just be that skinny kid again.
Yeah, with maybe a little bit more muscle.
And I think people find that very hard to understand, and I don't, I understand it. I totally understand it. That's hard to understand because when we first start our journeys, we have no concept of where we need to be, what we're going to look like.
Yep.
That first picture you take of, okay, diet starts today, this is where I am.
Yeah.
At that point, when you take that first picture, you have no comprehension of what that last picture is going to look like.
No, and what you vision might be totally different than what's going to actually play out.
Yeah. A very good friend of mine, one of the guys who got me into competing, when we first did our posing pictures, he said, you know what? What you think is your strength now may not be your strength on stage. Yep. Your body parts will change the way in which your body parts emerge.
Yep.
You may think that a certain body part is going to be your best. It might end up being your worst.
Yeah.
And that always lived with me. And when I now see clients and I see people in that first stage, it helps me to visualize maybe what they'll look like 20 weeks down the road.
Yeah. Yeah.
By kind of going back to where I was when I was 20 weeks out.
Yeah.
On my first diet.
The time frames really freak people out, eh? Like I got a young guy who comes to see me, twice a week, and then he goes to the gym on his own, and he's packed on a little bit, but he's still very, kind of like you said, very lean. When you were younger, and I was the same way. Like I was 120 pounds when I started going to the gym, and had a little bit of abs, but I was a small kid, right? And after 5 years, then some muscle started to, look like it was in place, and he's 19, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, you got to remember, man, I've been in the gym pretty consistently for 8-9 years, right? And I'm still only 160 pounds, right? And he's like 150. So comparatively, he's like, how do we look so different? I'm like, it's time, man. It's a lot of time.
I don't think people really appreciate that scale of time, tissue, body fat.
Yeah.
It's not relevant. It's like that, to gain that tissue, the two processes are completely different. And people don't understand that. I find that fat loss, the process of fat loss, I find it's very, very simple.
Oh, yeah, 100%. It's, eat a little bit of less, move a little bit of more, and give it some time, and all of a sudden, bam, you're 20 pounds lighter.
Yep. But to gain tissue, that's a different matter.
Well, I told him, and you have that conversation, right? And it's like, he's like, so like, how long for me to like build some muscle? Like, say I want to get 10 pounds heavier. I'm like, bro, you want 10 pounds of muscle? You better be ready to commit. Like, even you estimate it. Okay, he gets the beginner gains. Say he gets like 10 pounds on his frame, some fat, some water, maybe 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds of muscle. And then the newbie gains start to go, right? And I'm like, dude, like 10 pounds on your frame of good weight, like shit, that's 5 years at minimum. Like, honestly, like, you know what I mean? And he just, his eyes widen and he's a little bit freaked out. I'm like, that's just how it is, right? And back to what you said, like, people got to love to train, right? If you are serious about it and you're like, 5 years freaks you out, well, maybe you don't love it as much as you thought you did.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
If you love to train, 5 years is 5 years. If it's 5 years, if it's 6 years, if it's 2 years, everybody's different. You don't know, right? But if you love it, right, and you really love the process of changing your body, then so what if it's 5 years, right? Yeah. But it's again that addiction of like, well, I want to post that photo on Instagram, I think, right? And I think that's people get, and they see guys who, and a lot of guys are dishonest about their usage of certain things, right? So they see there's a lot of young guys out there who are amazing, but for someone like you or for me who's been involved in this for so long, you get an eye for it, right? And you're like, that guy is taking some things, right? So you can't compare yourself to him because it's a totally different ballgame.
I think this is where social media also hurts people as well. I've had young lads who get themselves into some trouble psychologically.
Yeah.
Because they see the social media, and it's like, why can't I do that? Why can't I?
Yep.
Why can't I train twice a day? Why can't I? So you can't recover from it, and then they try, and then they break down, and then they can't progress, and then they're struggling. Why am I getting weaker, not stronger?
Yeah.
Because you're trying to do things that are not sustainable. You're trying to do things that are not possible. Yeah. In the realms in which you want to compete in. Yeah. You want to stay natural. You got to train smart. Yeah. You got to think about a lot. You got to think about a lot more as a natural athlete than as someone who's enhanced. 100%. And I do work with people who are enhanced. I don't work with their enhancements. I have anything to do with that. I just have the nutrition and training. I think is fundamental. Yeah, we can train and we can diet in the same principle. Yeah, exactly. But there is things that I can do, and there are things that they can get away with, and I can change their split and make them train a little bit different. Their recovery is better. Yeah, that's the bottom line, right? Dropping body fat's different. It's kind of there are fundamental differences in the two. But people who don't disclose what they're doing, and they're on social media and they're telling all these young lads what they're doing. Buy my program. Yeah, absolutely. It's damaging to them. Yeah, I had a guy the other day. We got into a pretty intense conversation about like time in the gym versus time out of the gym. Yeah. And I was like explaining to him, I'm like, man, you don't build in the gym, like honestly.
And that one throws people off too. They're like, well, I need to go to the gym 2-3 hours. It'll help. I'm like, man, that's totally counterproductive to what you're trying to do. Like you need to think about food, and he doesn't play up all night playing video games, right? And I'm like, man, like that's something as simple as that is hindering your progress.
Yeah.
He's like, how? And I'm like, I explained to him the whole process of recovery and blah 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 blah. And again, like you see guys on social media that are on stuff and they're out partying and they're drinking, and then the next day they're hitting chest and they're all swolled up. And again, young guys see that and it's like, oh, that I can do that too. And like you mentioned earlier, then they're getting weaker. Maybe they're getting hurt, and it's disheartening.
Yeah. It's the life that we're living in, and we have to deal with it. Unfortunately, some people don't deal with it as well.
No, exactly. It's like a film over the truth.
Yeah, for sure.
100%. We got to be the ones to break the barrier.
Well, the thing is, what we have now and what we have the ability to do is educate people like I never had when I was coming through. I didn't have anyone to educate me in this way. I didn't have the good influences out there. Yeah. It just wasn't available. I'm a pain in the ass. When I started bodybuilding, I'd be on forums.
Type it away.
Yeah, absolutely. Forums were where I would get most of my knowledge. And if there was someone on there that was willing to give information, they were my best mate. They were the ones that I would be asking. Yeah. Because I'm very open. If someone messages me and they want a question asked, I'll answer it. Yeah. I'll give them that information. I've got nothing to hide. No. I've got no secrets. I've got no magic pills. I've got nothing revolutionary. Yeah. If you're willing to put the work in and you're willing to do what you need to do, then I can give you the information. But you still got to apply it. So I didn't have that. I didn't have someone who could just answer my question. I couldn't just shoot someone a DM. Yeah. And of course, I draw the line at how much information I give. No, I'm not going to give someone a meal plan. Yeah. But I'm going to give them the basics information if they ask a simple question. Yeah. So that helps massively. And
how do I get bigger? Eat more.
Yeah, absolutely. And then it comes out, how much more? Well, now we're talking, how much do you already eat? What do you eat now? What's happening? How is what you're eating now impacting on your physique? Okay, now I have all this information. I can tell you a bit more. Yeah,
and that's where the coaching service comes in, right? Like, you're right. There's a certain amount of information you can give away as a general across the board for everybody, right? Again, like, how do I get bigger? Eat more, blah, 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 blah. But again, if someone wants more, well, I need more from you, which is we're going to require more from me to help you. So that's where, okay, this is now a service. Like, we gotta talk about that a little bit more. But you're right. Like, and that's why I love doing this podcast, right? Like, even something as simple as me and you having this conversation right now, someone could be listening and be like, oh, I'm that kid. Yeah. I'm that same person. Maybe I need to look, step back and look at the people I follow or the information that I'm getting and be like, okay, maybe it's not as transparent as I think it is, right? So that's why I love this method of talking so much, because you never know who can help.
And that's the thing, just I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I don't enjoy it. I participate in it because I know, I have people that daily message me and saying, how I am influencing them.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not coaching them. I don't even know them. They're part of my friends on Facebook or they follow me. But if I'm influencing them in any positive way,
that's a win.
I'm happy to keep doing it. Yeah. And I'm not as prolific on social media as a lot of people I know. But that's their thing. That they enjoy doing that. Yeah. I do it to a degree because some of my clients are obviously, enjoy it as well. But if I can just influence someone in any positive way, I kind of go, you know what? Okay, I will do that post. Yeah. Okay, I will post that. Okay, I will put that up.
No, for sure.
So I don't enjoy it as much. Yeah. When you get to my age, you kind of go, yeah, I'll do it.
I guess.
Yeah, okay. But do you know what? There are a lot of good coaches out there that do a lot on social media. Yep.
Yep. No, and that's the thing, right? If you're able to find the good information, which, like you said, there's a lot of it out there now, right? Like, there's a lot of shitty stuff, but honestly, there's a lot of good information out there. And again, if someone's, watching this and they follow me or they follow you, and then they start to see who we communicate with in our circle, that's where they can start to get quality information, right? And they can start to weed out the BS from the real.
But we're educated, okay? We are in a privileged position where if I listen to something and I go, do you know what? I can get rid of that.
Yeah.
Most people can't.
No.
And I think that's the damaging part of it. A lot of people, they don't know how to decipher it.
Yeah.
They don't know the good from the bad.
Yeah.
If you've got some guy on social media with 5,000 followers and he's talking a lot of crap.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what? He's got 5,000 followers.
Yeah, that's 5,000 people.
Yeah, surely that's actually good information he's given you, which isn't always the case.
No, and that's why, like, for me, doing something like this, like, I'm trying to be very, very specific in who I try to communicate with, because for me, it's super important to get that good quality information, right? Because I was once that kid that was trying to learn stuff, right? So, when I go through and, just like I did with you, right? Just send you a message. Hey, this is what I want to do. What are your thoughts? I try to, like, check out what you're posting, right? Who's in your circle, right? Because do your values and stuff reflect what I am seeing value in too, right? Because, if we're having this conversation and we're on totally polar opposites, then, it's just not going to be good, right? And that's not what I hope people get out of these things, right? Because, again, you don't want people more lost after listening to the podcast. Like, I hope people listen to this and they're like, okay, like, I'll check out this guy's Instagram. Oh shit, he's got some good information. Give him a follow, learn from him. Yeah. Then what we've done here is worthwhile.
Absolutely, and vice versa. Obviously, when you approached me and said, fancy a chat.
Yep.
I already knew who you were. I'd already seen some of your work. So I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
I'm happy to sit here and answer any questions that you might have for me.
Yep.
For the benefit of anyone else.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, this was good. All right, man. Well, I know you got a jet here soon. You got to get some clients taken care of. Is there any last little bits you want to throw out there? Maybe some tips for the youngsters out there, 2 or 3 things that they need to know before they go?
If we're talking about competitive people who are looking at prospective competitors,
sure,
just be consistent.
Yeah.
Don't rush things. Look at what you want to do. Research it. Go to a show.
Yeah, that's a big. It's funny you mentioned that. Like, I know so many people that want to compete, never been to a show. Like, they have no clue how it's done, what's involved in it, like all this stuff, and they're like, wait. There's a morning and an evening? What are you talking about? I'm like, dude, go figure it out.
But again, not all federations have a morning and an evening.
Hey, you're right. That's total. Some places are totally different.
Yeah, if you rock up to it in the UK, we have 3 main natural federations, and they're all run very differently.
Yeah. So,
and they are all on a different scale. One has a morning and an evening. One has an overall, just a run through.
Yep.
Another one doesn't even have like all their categories in order. So like most shows you go to, if you're going to do men's open, you'll have lightweight, middleweight, heavyweight.
Yep,
and they'll be
sure.
Well, one of the federations over here, you could be a lightweight and you could be on last. Heavyweights could come on first. It makes, there's no random, it's random order.
Sure.
But yeah, going to a show, just go and see what these guys look like, these girls look like.
Yeah.
First thing I did when I was approached to go and do a competition, me and my mate were like, well, when's the next show?
Yep. Gotta go see what's up.
Went down. Yep, we went down, watched the show, were absolutely blown away. And that was our mind made up. It was like, so for me, it was just like, I want to look like that.
Yeah.
Do I believe I can look like that? Well, I don't know, but I'm going to give it a go.
Yep, I'm doing my best.
And it was me made up. I was like, right, okay. So this was in 2007. And I was like, right, what do I need to do now to compete in 2008?
Sure.
And I took another year before I then eventually did compete. Some of these guys are going, oh, yeah, I want to compete this year. Have you been to a show? No, I'm going to go to the one next week. Well, if you're going to the one next week, you're already halfway through the season. So therefore, you can't compete this year anyway because you're probably not going to have enough time.
Oh yeah.
And I think with natural competitors, I think it's a matter of, giving yourself enough time, surrounding yourself by positive people.
Yep. Get in it. Dive head first.
Absolutely. And one of the main things I would say is be in the right position within your life to be able to commit to a contest prep.
Yeah, because it's all consuming. That's my girlfriend is doing the same show as me. This is her first one, and she's very, she saw what I went through the last prep. We had a year off to, basically be normal. Now she's involved in it too, and she's getting a full understanding of from sun up to sundown. It's always on your mind. When do I eat again? When do I gotta train? Did I do a good workout? When's cardio? Like, it's all consuming, and kind of like you said, it's you gotta be ready for it.
And I think there's a massive difference as well. Like, you're in an environment where, like you say, your girlfriend's interested.
Yeah.
I have a wife and daughter, and my wife's not interested in the slightest.
Yeah, they could care less.
She has no interest. Now she was in the gym earlier, and she was training.
Yep.
Her session. In fact, my daughter was having a session as well.
Sweet.
But they have no interest in competing. It's like that's a different life for them. They are very happy for me to do it.
Yep. Supportive. They'll be behind you.
But my environment dictates that I have to control my lifestyle to fit in with theirs.
Yeah.
And as a father of a 6-year-old daughter, I can't be, alien to her. I need to still be normal.
Yeah, you can't be that typical, like, when I say typical, I say that in quotes, but like hoodie on, you're kind of in a hermit, you're doing your own thing. Like, you can't do that. That's straight up. You can't just ignore your daughter and, she's like, Dad, come watch a movie. You can't be like, no, I'm eating chicken. Like, you can't do that.
Now, I don't have that privilege, of course, when I started 11 years ago, I could do that.
Yeah.
I could be a little bit more selfish.
Yeah.
But now me having them as my support team as well, that helps me.
Fuel.
That makes me better at everything that I do.
Yeah.
Because I have to be more organized. I have to be more scheduled.
Totally.
But I go out for meals with them. I'm not a flexible dieter at all. I'm very, very rigid with my meal plans.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm happy to bring my meal out to the restaurant with you.
Sure.
And I'll sit at the restaurant and I'll eat my meal.
Yeah.
They're eating, they're buying food, they're buying drinks.
Yeah. No
one ever has an issue with me and my Tupperware.
Perfect.
And quite often they'll ask if I want it warmed up and put it on a plate for me.
Hell yeah.
So
hook me up.
My lifestyle revolves around them.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure they're involved in it. But I also have to be in contest prep.
Yeah.
When I'm in contest prep mode, my training, so I train on my own in my own gym, and I put my earphones in.
Yep.
And I've got my hoodie up.
Yep.
And I'm in my zone. But then when I walk out the door and my daughter wants to play and she wants to kick 7 bells out of me and fight, and I have to do that.
That's amazing.
So it's having that balance. And I think if you are going into a contest prep for the very first time or the 10th time, I think involving those around you and being considerate of them, I think that enables your prep to be a lot easier.
Very well said.
I always say to my clients, consider them more so that you can be more selfish.
Yep. So true.
Because if you're nicer to them and you do more for them, they'll allow you to be more selfish.
Yep. They'll understand.
100%.
Very well said. That was a great way to end this. That was awesome.
Thank you, mate.
All right, man. Plug your social media. Where can people find you? I'll have it all linked down below, but spell it out for them in case they need to find you.
Yeah, so on Instagram, I'm Coach DSL.
Okay.
So Coach_DSL, which is my name, Darren Shepherd-Loxton.
Yep.
On Facebook, I am Darren Shepherd-Loxton, natural bodybuilder.
Okay.
Have a page there, and I have my personal page as well.
Perfect.
So I post on all 3 of them.
Yep.
And yeah, if anyone's got any questions, if anyone ever wants to DM me, send me a message. I'm always happy to help. Always happy to answer questions.
Awesome. You heard it there first, guys. He is ready to answer anything you need for him. Super informative pages and stuff too. So go give him a follow. I promise you will learn some things. So thanks again, man. Appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you taking some time out of your day.
No worries. And thanks for having me on.
No worries, man. All right, you enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll talk soon. We'll do this again for sure.
Good luck the next 10 weeks, bro.
Yeah, thanks, buddy. Have a good one.